Did you grow up in the Philippines?
Yes.
You did? And when did you move away?
Before he was 17 years old.
Before you were
He
17?
was born in Seattle,
Yeah.
and then they came to visit in the Philippines when he was 2 years old, and then they got caught by the Japanese war.
Oh.
So he stayed there. So before he got 17, because he's gonna lose his citizenship,
Ah.
he came back to the States.
Oh.
Yeah. Then he joined the Air Force. He came back and we got married.
You were in the Air Force?
Yeah. Yeah, he's retired from the Air Force. That's why we have
How long-
Medicare and TRICARE.
How long did you do Air Force?
We do good. 20.
22 years.
What?
I cannot. I have a hard time hearing too.
Yeah.
I have hearing aid here.
Yeah.
Yes, hearing aid. Yeah, the hearing aid here, that this replacing it is not working.
22 years?
Yes.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
22
So
years.
how did you decide to get married?
Because when he came, he was 17.
Yeah.
We were going together since I was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We were only 4th grade. He keeps getting my book. And he said, I love you, I love you. Yeah. And he came to
Don't
the
laugh.
States.
Yeah.
But this thing started during World War II, 1941.
Yeah.
He was just a little girl, I was just a little boy. It was during the Japanese time.
Yeah.
Okay? Where they live is way, way out of town. So when the Japanese came, you had to evacuate the town and go hide. And I used to pass by their house, and there used to be a little girl, mischievous little girl, and she'd be raising her dress. I'm gonna pee over you. That started from the 4th grade on, or actually 1941. After the war, we went back to school. We started the 3rd grade, 4th grade, and actually this thing started 12 years before. 1941 is a long time, and I didn't live to go to the States until 1951.
Wow.
And now, it's just, it's not possible that two little, but we have never been enemies. We've always been friends. In other words, we walk to school, we're always together.
Yeah. Wow. But you came back
Yes.
to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to leave school, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's really brave. Oh.
Married for 68 years now.
Wow.
68.
Yeah.
Yes. We just celebrated our 68th wedding anniversary.
Oh. So what did you do in the Air Force? What was your job?
I'm a cryptographer.
Cryptographer?
Yes.
So what do you do, like for translating or for doing codes?
Oh, well, no. It took me a long time to get my clearance.
Yeah.
Because where I was and things like that, the Philippines. But in order for you to get a top secret or a presidential clearance,
Yeah.
they investigate everything about you.
Yeah. Wow. And then you worked doing that
Yeah.
until you finished?
Yes.
Wow. Did you like that work?
Well, it's not something that you talk about. In other words, you feel like somebody's always watching you. It's just like I could have gone, when I got out of the Air Force, I could have gone back to Washington and worked for CIA or NSA.
Yeah.
But I decided, no, I don't need that anymore.
So what did you do when you finished?
No, I went to, I took a course in hotel management, so I worked the hotels until I won't hear anymore, or I could do it's just my hearing is
Wow.
affected. In other words, when I was in Vietnam, that's right now I'm doing paper Agent Orange and PTSD.
Oh. So you went to Vietnam.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Korea,
in Korea
Vietnam.
and I was in Vietnam also.
As a cryptographer or a different job?
No, I've always been a cryptographer.
But they made you be there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But even as a cryptographer, it was still, they did not have you in a good place. It was difficult.
Oh, well, even now, there's still a lot of the codes that they use that I have not forgotten. I'm supposed to, when I got out of the Air Force, it took me 10 years to get debriefed. After 10 years, they debriefed me. And after I've been out for retired, then we came back to Honolulu, they debriefed me again. In other words, every so many years, as your codes, your codes, they change, Every time one of the codes changes, they debrief you, see how much you retain.
Ooh. Yeah. Wow.
And you're never really out of the government. They're always watching you.
How so?
Because of the code, it's supposed to be that each code that it takes 10 years to forget it. But some people do forget it, I don't.
Yeah.
In fact, when I went back to Honolulu, the Air Force tried to recruit me in there to work with them, and they activated my clearance to see how much I retained. And they said, you don't even have to go back to school refreshment to work with us. In fact, you're so far ahead because, see, when I was in there, I worked with the Navy, with cryptographic technicians, UCT, communication technicians. I worked with the Army. In fact, that's all I did in NATO is I represented the U.S. side. So.
In NATO?
Yeah, in NATO.
Like at a meeting?
No, see what it is you work in crypto. All your signals, your presidential clearance and everything like that, they come through your U.S. national. In other words, it's just the U.S. people that handle it. And from there, it goes to operations. And they come back and it says, okay, you can break this thing down, release it, then we will release it. In other words, if there's something that I know that they should not have, I will tell them this is not to be released. This is just like what the president going through now, And I think somebody's always trying to say, well, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that, but And when my grandson got into the Air Force, he works also as a city linguist. In order for him to get cleared, they cleared me first before they cleared him. And my son worked in security. In other words, before he even got his top secret, he said, Dad, when is your top secret finished? I said, as far as I know, I said 1952, 1954 was when I got my top secret clearance. every 4 years they investigate you. Every
Really?
4 years.
Wow.
And it's not a job that people should like, but the thing is, I was stuck with it. I went going from one school to another. In fact, when my first son was born, I was going back to school again. I went to CNE school, I went to radio school, I went to mobile radio, and then I went to every type of communication. I went. Now I'm supposed to be a communications technician.
Did you choose cryptography or did the Air Force choose it?
No, the Air Force sent me to school one after another.
Yeah.
In other words, originally I was supposed to be at airborne radio. Okay? After I got done with airborne, then they said, okay, we needed some communications technician, so we're going to send you to communication electronics, intercept, in other words. So then every time that there is a change, they said, okay, you go back to CNE school. I went to crypto school 3 times because every phase of the school.
Wow. And where were you living, in the United States or in Europe or somewhere else?
I was living in the U.S.
You were in the U.S.
Yeah.
In Texas or somewhere?
Sometimes we were in Texas, New Mexico, but when I went to NATO, we were in Naples,
Naples.
Italy.
Yes.
See, even when we were in Naples, I really worked mostly on the national side. But then they transferred me from Air South to App South, to Armed Forces South. That means it's joint. So I went joint. And that means I worked 2 sections. I worked the US side and I worked NATO side.
Oh.
So that's what made it kind of leery about it, because you have to watch what can be released on this side, and you have to watch what you cannot release. So when we were in NATO, they had to clear me before I can go overseas. Not the first person to get citizenship. She was the only one person that had her citizenship that one day. So
Yeah. We got married before I could join him, come to the States. We went to San Francisco court that night. Only me and the judge say, I do. You're now American.
the district court.
So I could join him to come to the States.
At
Because I
night?
was in the Philippines. Yeah, we got married in the Philippines, and he wanted to take me to the States.
Yeah.
But I'm a Filipino citizen.
Yeah.
So they said, you have to be take American citizenship. So they said, okay, go to the judge in San Francisco.
District court.
We went 10 o'clock at night. There's a judge. Raise your hand. Say, I do. I said, I do. Congratulations, you're now an American citizen. That's how it was, Bruce.
Oh. Wow.
So I got to fly with him back to the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, that's why I say it's not the job that I would suggest anybody should do. If you don't have any foreign leanings or connections, fine. But she's Filipina and I'm US. And I have a crypto, it's supposed to be no foreign nationals, and there's one. So they have She was the only one that took her citizenship at night.
That's so funny.
In San Francisco?
And yes,
And
the judge
district court.
in court, San Francisco court.
District court?
Yeah.
So you went there
Yeah, we went there.
and then stayed?
Yes. And they said, say I do. And the judge said, raise your right hand. I said, I raise my hand. Say I do. I do.
Oh, wow.
See, because otherwise I cannot go and but they need me for the job, so they have to naturalize her.
Wow.
That's why sometimes you see there's so many things that they can do and sometimes they can't do, or sometimes they pretend, oh, it's not legal. Well, when shop comes to post or post comes to shop, they'll do it. So this we had to go to the court at night. I think it was about 8 o'clock at night. The judge had to wait for us to get there so she can get naturalized. And from there, we took the plane and we went to New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went
From
to,
New York to Italy.
we went to New York, and then I think we landed in Paris, and then from Paris we went to Naples.
Oh. How long were you in Naples?
Oh, once I got to Naples, they won't let me go. We stayed,
So we went 2 tours. We went back. We went to Naples. Then we came back to the States. After a year and a half, they sent us back to the same place. And we had our friends in there, the comadre, the grandmother of my children, because they were born there. And we rang the bell. They said, they almost collapsed because they thought it was a ghost. And we went to visit them. Same place. Yeah.
Do you remember your parents? Your mom and dad?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that. Was he in the military? What did he do?
No, my dad, he was in World War II. He was in the army, in the U.S. Army. But then in World War II, if you're in the States, even if you're not a citizen, they drop you in the army. So he went to the army. And of course, my mother, they got married in the States. They left the Philippines to go to the States, and that's where we were born.
Oh, your parents did?
No, my parents did leave the Philippines to go to the States. See, at one time there was a Philippine Commonwealth, if I'm not mistaken. So it is just like they can travel back and forth without citizenship. It's just like cities like Puerto Rico and all those places, But it became an independent.
Yeah.
Independence was in I believe it was 1946 when it was they elected to have their independence. So they ceased being a Commonwealth country, and then that's what they said. It started being ridiculous because there's so many of them in the States, and there's so many of them in the Philippines. The ones that are in the States, they stay. The ones in the Philippines, they can no longer go without visas and things like that.
Yeah.
And she felt under that one.
Yeah. Do you remember any of your grandparents?
Pardon?
Your grandparents?
Oh, my grandparents, my grandfather, who was in the States also.
Really? Did he live with you?
No, I have not. I did leave. But after my parents divorced, my mom went to the Philippines, my dad stayed in the States. I lived with my grand aunts, your aunt, the aunt of my mother.
Yeah. Wow. in the Philippines.
in the Philippines.
Yeah. What city was that?
Pardon?
What city?
Oh, well, it's in the province Ilocos.
Yeah. Wow.
But then again, when I went there, that's when I found out, when I was about 15 or 16, I got a letter from the American Embassy that I had to return to the States. Otherwise, lose my citizenship because my parents are separated.
Yeah.
And I cannot have a Filipino citizen as my guardian.
Next patient is ready.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Long story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long story.